Hello and welcome to the ET Guitar YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be comparing the 5E3 circuit versus the 5D3 circuit using the exact same kit from Amplified Parts. I'm going to show you guys how I converted it from one to the other. Now, most people aren't very familiar with the 5D3 because it's 5D3. I need to pronunciate. It's easy to get those blended together. The 5D3 circuit, which predates the 5E3, most people don't have a ton of experience with it because it didn't last very long in the Fender catalog and was pretty quickly converted to the 5E3. Now, the ones I've played, the vintage ones, I've tended to prefer the 5D3 personally. I think most people actually would prefer the 5D3 over the 5E3, but they just haven't had a chance to play one yet. So I kind of want to demo that, try it out with my own amp, see if I like it, and then show you guys so you can come to your own conclusions. Foundation for this video is the Amplified Parts 5E3 kit. Now, this is video 5, I think, of a series I've done based on this kit. So I'll put a link in the description below to a playlist where you can find all the videos. Video 1, we built the kit. We compared it to a vintage Tweed Deluxe. Video 2, we compared different coupling caps. Video 3 was different resistors. Video 4 was different output transformers. So now we're actually converting it into something different, but using the same kit. So a huge shout out to Amplified Parts. They made all of this possible. They provided the kit. They provided the parts for me to do this. So once again, big shout out to them. I'll put a link in the description below to a link so you can learn more. You can buy your own. They're also offering a limited discount code for any of their mod collection items, including different kits. So if you want that, you can go ahead and check it out. All right, without further ado, let's go to the workbench. We'll convert it over to the 5D3. Now, for the actual video comparison after that, you will see that this is not changed. The microphones, the cabinet, the speaker, all of that is a constant. So, and the room sounds you hear is my camera as well as a phone, which I'll pan off to the sides. So you get a nice sense of in the room as well as detail up close. So all that's being the same. I will use a looper pedal as well. So the take is exactly the same. So you're just hearing circuit versus circuit with everything else, all the other variables kind of accounted for as much as I possibly can. Okay, all that out of the way, let's go to the workbench and let's do the conversion. All right, let's talk circuits. So you can see where we landed with the 5E3 on the workbench. We got Jupiter coupling caps and we got carbon comp resistors throughout. So this was kind of the optimized stock 5E3. Now it's time to turn into something else entirely. So let's look at the two different kind of options we have here. The first one, set it up here, is the 5D3. So the 5D3 was a predecessor to the 5E3. Obviously. And it's very, very similar with kind of one major difference, but there's a couple other small differences. So the front end is all the same cathode resistor, same bypass caps, but the coupling caps here are half the size. You can see they're 0.05s versus 0.1s. So this is a big reason why, you know, the 5E3 is kind of famous for having tons of extra low end and kind of just a lot of extra. And this helps lean things out a little bit. So a lot of the changes make you go, why? Because it seemed like a step in the wrong direction in a lot of ways. But what you get, obviously the 5E3 is a classic for a reason, but it's a very specific sound. It's not everyone's sound, not everyone's cup of tea. So this whole front end is the same besides these two coupling caps, and then it gets into a different phase inverter setup. It's called a paraphase, I believe is what it's called, phase inverter versus a cathodiene phase inverter in the 5E3. Again, a big part of the sound with the 5E3 gets that kind of just ratty, extra crazy gain sound. A lot of that is because of the phase inverter when it's really cranked up. So the 5D3 is one option where basically we would change these two coupling caps and then convert the phase inverter over to the 5D3 paraphase. I'm going to kind of run through exactly what is required, and I'll show you here. I got kind of just a rudimentary drawing of the setup that we would need to change. So everything that's colored not green has to change. Anything with different colors is something that will have to be changed. So you can see the coupling caps, those go to 0.05. And then we can see, where am I at? This is all the same. And here's where things get very, very different. We compare these side by side. We got 100K here, that stays, but then we got to add a cap here for the 5D3 circuit. We got to change this to 100K plate resistor. This goes to a 0.05, this goes to a 0.05, this goes to a 270K, and then there's some different changes. I built all of this using the same eyelet board, so we're not changing any eyelets or anything. This is all the stock setup that you can convert it, but a big difference are the underwire connections, so we will have to remove the board, disconnect everything, get the board out, and then change some of the underwire connections. And I'm going to do it all on the top so you guys can see it because it's not really meant to be super clean. And then on the 5D3 circuit, the cathode resistor is, I believe, over here. The filter caps are shifted down. None of that matters. And then the droppers here, 10K and a 10K, that is different than what is on the 5E3. So that's a difference as well. Okay, so we can see kind of the rough marching orders. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I guess you guys will just follow along. Okay, so we got all of the connections undone. It's going to get messy. This is not going to be a clean build anymore. I mean, it was never a clean build in the first place, but I knew this going into it. So the underside, there's a lot of connections, as you can see. So let's go ahead and figure out which ones we need to move. I'm going to do all the connections above the board because I'm going to have to move them around again when we do the next conversion. So we're going to have something going from this eyelet to this eyelet. And then we need to move this wire. This one needs to go to this eyelet. So not sure how I want to do that just yet. And then we've got to add a wire from this eyelet to this eyelet. And then we got to move a wire from this eyelet over to this eyelet. And I think that covers it. Yes, it does. Okay, so not too bad. I just got to figure out specifically this long one right here. I might just get a new wire and do it fresh, but let me look at the other circuit I want to do and make sure I can kill two birds with one stone here versus having to go back and redo all of this, take the board out again. All right, so there you guys go. There's the conversion complete. So we got the smaller coupling caps, 0.05s across the board here instead of the 0.1s that were in the 5E3 circuit. And then I just have to have some wires floating in the air because I don't want to run anything under because I have to mess with that later. So we got the connections to the grids, excuse me, over here, ground connection over here, and then these are the plate connections over there. So yeah, the only thing that remained was really this resistor, and this resistor. Everything else has been swapped or moved around. And then I also ended up changing the droppers to 210Ks, just like the 5D3 circuit. So with all of that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and do some tests to make sure it works. And then we can go ahead and start filming the comparison. Well, as always, I'm extremely excited to hear what you guys have to say. I always really enjoy reading the comments and seeing your impressions. Now, I will say the 5D3 left a very lasting impression on me. I really like that circuit, quite a bit more than the 5E3 for the most part. And a lot of time has passed since I first filmed the comparison and the intro of this video. This is no longer a 5D3. It's been converted into something new entirely. Stay tuned, subscribe for that. That's the next video in the series. But I really like the 5D3 enough to kind of wish I could have both. And I kind of want to build another kit and just do a 5D3 straight off the rip. Don't even do the 5E3. That's how much I liked it. It's just more versatile. It's a clearer tone. It's got more gain range. Just sounds, in my opinion, kind of better across the board. It has less of the quirks, but still has the 5E3 Tweed Deluxe DNA. So it's not totally a departure. So I don't think this video was a great representation of the 5D3 because we're limited. We're following the same exact settings from the 5E3 where it was already optimized for that amp. So, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say, but I just want to encourage you to try a 5D3. And if you want to build your own kit from amplified parts and convert it, just follow the kind of steps I showed in the earlier portion of this video. Give it a shot. I think most people would prefer that in general. It's a better platform for pedals as well, in my opinion. So yeah, it was short-lived. It only lived, this amp only existed as a 5D3 for honestly a few hours before I converted it into what it is now because I just had some time to knock it out one day. So I didn't get to enjoy it that much, but it left a lasting impression, like I said. And in the vintage ones, my experience was the same. I tended to prefer the 5D3. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to Amplified Parts for making all of this possible. Just such an awesome partnership. Really appreciative of them. And thank you guys for watching and following along with the series. The reception's been really great. So if you want to, again, look back at the other videos comparing different component swaps, I will have the playlist link in the description below. And subscribe for more. Stay tuned for the next video in the series. It's going to be really cool. And until next time, see ya.